21 years it's been going. I know you haven't been in it the whole way. But it's been, what, 14?
I think it is, 13 or 14
God, it's
now,
gone back by in a flash.
I know.
Absolute flash. And it's great because we've watched her grow. We've seen her going through some really bad times. I mean, right now, she's recovering from a horrible ordeal, the whole thing in Mexico. And she's very vulnerable, which is interesting, isn't it?
Yes. And normally, the episodes of Silent Witness, the stories are sort of stand-alone. So there is a bit of a difference with this series in that what happened in Mexico at the end of the last series was so extreme that we couldn't ignore it coming back to this series. So you see Nikki in a sort of post-traumatic state. The series is really, you know, apart from having the crime story each week, is about seeing Nikki's recovery and the Lyle team, who were quite fractured at the beginning,
that's true,
coming back together.
I like that, though. I like to see more about what's making her tick.
Yes.
I think it's interesting.
It's lovely to play.
Oh, absolutely. Of course it is. It really is. And I like the three of you who are really very much at the heart of that drama. It's a really strong team.
Yeah, we've got 4 of us, actually,
There is.
which is
That's
great
true.
because it used to be 3 pathologists working on 1 or 2 cases a week, but now we have the forensic science side opened up because Jack and Clarissa are forensic scientists, so we can bring a lot more of that side into the stories.
That makes perfect sense. In this new series, she goes through therapy.
Yes.
And you found that helpful in your own life as well, haven't you? I mean, I know it's not for everyone, but you've always said it's actually really helped you through some tough times.
I mean, I've always said, you know, it absolutely isn't for everyone, and, you know, I would never suggest that anyone should have it if they didn't want it, but it's definitely helped me through difficult times. But I now think of it as, you know, we take it for granted that physical fitness is good for you. I see it as a sort of mental fitness and well-being. So in difficult times, it's good, but it also... you know, you can look at life very much from one's own perspective, and sometimes it just gives you another perspective and you look at life from different angles. Which is
and
good.
it's a different way, because a lot of people say, oh, what do you need to go and have therapy for if you've got pals? But it's different, isn't it? It's totally different. Rather than talking to your friends who might agree with you, even if you talk to somebody who's totally objective, then it's very different, isn't it?
It's absolutely, and you know, I see it through difficult times, but also through good times. It's absolutely worth doing for me.
If it works for you, if it absolutely works for you, why not? As well as this going on, of course, you've got Delicious with Dawn French.
She is great to work with, and what's interesting is that it's sort of different in that with Silent Witness, it's very much focused on Nikki and the job, and all of us with our work, but Delicious focuses on the characters and the relationships between them much more.
No, very much so, very much so, and it's kind of almost in the sunshine. You know, I always think of Silent Witness as almost being in the gloom a lot of times, isn't it? So it must have been lovely to have that. But you weren't working on both at the same time, were you?
I was doing
crossover?
Silent Witness and then went to Delicious and then came back to Silent
Witness.
Oh,
right, okay. That must have been quite strange.
It was strange, but it was lovely. It was having summers in Cornwall is absolute bliss.
Fantastic, and that's where Dawn lives as well.
Yeah.
That's the perfect job she's got.
I know.
Think about it, just get up in the morning, walk to your work, come back.
Yeah, we were living in the same town, so we could literally just walk up the road and see each other.
Fantastic. I like the whole premise of that as well, because it was very different, wasn't it? It was like, you know, the women not knowing about one another. It was quite fascinating.
And the series sort of focuses on the relationship between them, which is so complicated from series 1, where it was about the second wife who I play finding out, a second wife of a sort of successful chef and hotel owner, discovering that he was having an affair with his first wife, played by Dawn, and then he died very early on in the series, leaving us to see whether we could run the business together.
And sort out the mess that he left behind.
So this series then has started with the 2 of them running a very successful business. They work very well together, but underneath, the tensions remain.
Very much so. I'm loving all these dramas as well. You know, we talking to Phyllis Logan, I'm talking to her later on as well about Girlfriends, but all these great parts that are being created for women who aren't 18.
I know.
And it's really good, though. I mean, is that because more women are writing and more women are directing, or is it just a change of... Maybe it's just that people realise that that's what we want to see?
I think there is a sort of... definitely there seems to be more consciousness about writing parts for women and writing parts for women of different ages. And Delicious really demonstrates that, because it's cross-generational from, you know, Teresa, who's a teenager, right up to Sheila Hancock.
Now, famously, there's a lot of foxes that are in the acting business, famously. Your wee girl, Rose, might not be, though. I read something about it where she said acting's an activity and not a job.
This Christmas...
Was there a sense of relief there, maybe?
This Christmas, someone said, do you think you'll go to drama school? And she said, that's not a job, that's an activity. At which point 4 actors looked at each other and went, I think you're right.
She'll probably end up being a doctor or a lawyer or something. Or who knows?
Who knows?
You know what? All you want for them is to be happy and to do
Absolutely.
their thing.